Gee, I hope you can hear me over all the noise besides the traffic. They're doing construction a few buildings away, so I hope you can hear me. I wanted to do an update on the solution that I had for my hammock and the Grand Trunk hammock stand. If you watch my review, you'll see that there's an issue with my hammock because my hammock is too long for the stand. But I did come up with a solution thanks to some tips that were given to me by some very kind, helpful, and knowledgeable about hammocks people. I will include some links to their sites in the description below. And if I forget to do that, somebody comment and remind me, because sometimes I tell you, I'm going to put a link in the description and I forget. So one was Derek Hansen. He wrote the book The Ultimate Hang, which is an amazing, if you want to learn about doing hammocks the right way, buy his book. Okay, it's fabulous. And I actually emailed him about this problem that I was having, and he gave me some good advice. I also contacted Adventures with the Marine. He's got a nice YouTube channel, and I'm probably going to pronounce this next one wrong. Shugemery. And they all gave me great tips. And then I even contacted Dutchware gear to see if they had some ideas of what I could do. Their advice was to tie a knot in the hammock, which I did not want to do. I did not want to tie a knot in the hammock. But some of the different advice was get shorter continuous loops, tie a knot in the continuous loop. Technically, you'd shorten it by tying a knot just in a continuous loop. The carabiner idea, which is what I had originally thought of doing, everybody said that that would work, but then I realized that if the carabiner is big enough to handle the extra fabric of the hammock, that the carabiner would probably end up being long, and you're kind of defeating the purpose there. So I'll show you what I did to fix the situation. So as a reminder, if you didn't go watch the other video, what I had done previously was I took this continuous loop, wrapped it around here, and just used the carabiner and clipped it back to the continuous loop. But it left the carabiner sitting right against the metal, and I didn't like that. So I wanted a different solution. Because while just putting the carabiner on these straps, the hammock was on the ground. So running the continuous loop through here and connecting it back to itself with the carabiner actually did work. It was at the perfect height. I just didn't like the carabiner sitting against the metal frame. Now, I did write to Grand Trunk, sent them pictures of it. They said that they felt it was fine, it was not a problem. But I just didn't like it, so I wanted to do something different. So I took one of the first tips that I got. I believe it might have been from Derek Hansen. So first thing I did was I put a knot in each continuous loop. Believe it or not, that tiny little knot shortened it drastically. So it is still pretty low to the ground. When I sit on it, my butt is about maybe 6 inches off the ground, which is off the ground, but I still would like it a little higher, because with my butt being that low and me being old and overweight, it's really hard for me to get out of the hammock. So to help me with that, I attached a hammock ridge line. I understand why a hammock ridge line is beneficial. It takes the stress off the hammock when you're laying in it. It also, once you get the length of the ridge line correct, no matter how you hang the hammock, you always have that proper sag to get that comfortable lay in the hammock, no matter where you hang it. You set that ridge line, the hammock always hangs the right way every single time. So hammock ridge lines are great, this hammock stand and hammock setup is only going to be used for car camping, and I might do a lot of lounging around in it, so I don't always want the ridge line in my face. But I put it on there because getting up out of the hammock with the hammock being so low was really hard. So the nice thing about a hammock ridgeline is you can use it to steady yourself. So when you're getting up out of the hammock, you can actually grab onto it and use it to help steady yourself, because it's pretty strong. And I mean, I wouldn't want to lay across it, but I can use it to help steady myself standing up and help myself get up out of the hammock while it's so low. So that was my first solution, and it works. It's got the hammock maybe about 6 inches lower than I'd really like it to be. I'd like it to be a little higher. I'd like it to be a good 12 inches off the ground when I'm actually in it. Even 18 inches would be better for me. So my other idea was, how do I get rid of this extra length? Now, I tried to tie 2 knots in this and couldn't do it because there's just not enough room here to tie another knot. So I thought to myself, how do I get rid of this length? And it's really funny because I did contact Dutchware Gear and nobody there thought of recommending this, but I'll show you what I found at Dutchware Gear. So this is what I found on Dutchware Gear. I actually don't remember what they're called, but I'm looking at them. I saw them on the site and watched a video how they're used, and I thought, you know what? Just by the length, look at that, how much of the carabiner length it takes away. Now, my only issue is I'll probably have to extend this ridge line in order to make it work. But that's okay. I'm going to put them on and see how it works. Okay, I couldn't show you how to attach those because I didn't have anybody to hold the camera, and I couldn't do it holding the camera and attaching at the same time. But you get the idea. You slip them through, and then the continuous loop goes over here. And I have to tell you, without the ridge line, this is perfect. So I like to have my hammock when it's just hanging before I get in it about the same height as my crotch. Are we allowed to say that on YouTube? I hope so. So it is a great height off the ground. I'll show you what it looks like when I get in it. Okay. It is a perfect height for me. So I am sitting in my hammock. My feet are on the ground, and my knees are bent, and my legs are going almost straight out. I'm down maybe only about an inch or 2 lower than I'd like to be, but this is like almost perfect because I can actually stand up out of it. Did you see that? I stood up out of it without any help. I didn't need the ridgeline help. I didn't have to grunt and strain. It's at a perfect height for me that I can get up out of it without a problem. Putting the knot in the continuous loops and then changing out the carabiner for those clips, perfect solution. I couldn't be happier. I'm so happy.